You're listening to the Behind Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I gotta tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roast even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bob Slitter's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com.
Welcome back to everybody. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny. The man on the other side of the camera, that is Mr. Chris. Sir, how you doing?
I am doing fabulous. How are you?
I wish I was doing fabulous.
Oh, you're doing fabulous. You're just going through some technical growth spurts.
Just a tad.
You're just having some issues in the technical realm, and it's kind of funny. I know we're both a part of some different podcasting groups that are not necessarily related to Disney, and I find it absolutely funny because some podcasts are like, oh my gosh, things are not totally perfect. Does that mean I have to redo everything? I'm like, let it roll. If you can't be true to your audience, and be real people to your audience, what else? We are always live. We are always unscripted. We are always unedited. And we are always here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We may be a little late, but we're here. So there.
Yeah, it's too late at night for me. I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving. I'm done. You're retired.
You're getting so old.
I literally was out cold 3 minutes before the show had to start. I was like, whoops, gotta go.
I don't understand that. It's like, dude, suck on some caffeine pills or something like that.
Then I'll be up all night. See? You don't have the answer.
Sleep is overrated.
Until I'm like trying to lift packages. What? All right. So let me pull this screen up here. So I kind of posted something yesterday. Was it today? Yesterday. That kind of ticked me off. Granted, it was a blog article. We will call it that as such. And it was over 2 years old, or a year and a half at that time, with an update about a year ago. It's from the Spit That Out, titled Top 10 Reasons I Hated Walt Disney World. You heard it.
You're really gonna go there.
Oh yeah, because this chick, this young lady, I shouldn't say chick, that's a bad way to approach somebody, because I did reach out to try to get her on the show, and there has been no response so far.
Oh,
really? What?
You really, huh?
Yeah. This young lady and her family decided they were going to be going on a trip and she wanted to do something for the kids. I believe her name is Paige Wolf, Wolf. And she was like, you know what? We're going to take our kids to Disney. And this supposedly, I'm not sure, you know, how big of a blogger she is. You know, I have never run across any of her work, but doesn't mean she's not big by any stretch of the imagination. I'm pretty sure this lady, if my research is right, she's been on like CNBC and Parents and US Weekly and things like that. With that being said, let me start with this. This is how she starts out. She talks about how controversial it was and yada, yada, yada. But this is how the original post started. It says, when seeking a vacation, I typically look for some variations of the following things. 1, the opportunity to have at least some time apart from my children. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm fine with that. Now, how do you get that? Well, if your kids are old enough, they could be by themselves. In her situation, the kids were nearly not even close to being old enough. So I would look at it as, did anybody tell you about the in-room service where they can watch your children for you in the hotel room? So you and your significant other can go get a nice dinner, a nice night out on the town. I don't think that was told to her. The chance to indulge in delicious cuisine, maybe even a few farm-to-table restaurants. Okay, I mean, if you're new to the show, welcome. If you're not, hey, I don't know, maybe listen to Behind the Ears podcast once in your life, and we could have gave you some delicious treats to go try. I mean, did you even go to Epcot? Did you look at a menu? Okay, we'll dive into that. Some outside-the-box fitness, scenic running or hiking trails, or even a recreational adventure.
Every resort has a running trail of some sort, and
some better than others.
Some that are better. Okay, I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this right out there. Seriously, Mike Rallman of the Be Our Guest podcast, good friend of the show's. It's hilarious because when he is at Disney, he runs every morning. At least it seems that way through his Instagram posts. And or no matter what Disney resort he is at, he finds a running trail, and he does like 10 miles, in the morning, so you can't tell me that, there aren't places to go for a run or even a nice leisurely jog or a nice stroll just to go get coffee. Sorry.
All right. Now I'll word it to you this way. Maybe, you know what? You didn't want to go for a run. You didn't want to go for a walk. And she said she wanted some out of the box activities. Could have rented those 4-seater bicycles. Those actually it takes a lot to move them.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Just saying, you wanted outside the box. I'm giving you outside the box.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if it's really anything else. Well, probably not, but let's keep moving here. Local culture, history, and regional quirkiness.
I don't think anybody goes to Disney for many of those particular items because you go to Disney and you're there to absorb the Disney culture sphere, so to speak. You're not there to get the local scene, so to speak. I mean, the closest local scene to Disney is like Celebration. And there are some cool things to do in Celebration. There are some cool places to eat and stuff like that. Fine, that's local. And I loved going to Celebration when I've gone down there. But, you think, you're not going to go to downtown Orlando for this sort of thing.
No, you're not going to hit the Orlando Eye by any stretch of the imagination. But if you were there during Wine and Food Festival, you can dive into some of their local cuisine, local eateries that come there, even some of the local breweries or wineries or whatever the case is. Listen, before we dive any deeper into this, a lot of people said she wrote this article looking for attention. I don't think it was. I truly don't think that's what she was trying to do. because she even kind of said in a couple of the updates, she never thought it'd be this controversial. She's talked about breastfeeding in public and, you know, hot button topics like that got controversial. But she said this Disney one was her highest rated blog. That's
highest rated or highest read, because you can't tell me that unless for some reason it was targeted by, you know, the Disney fan community base, that it didn't beat something like, you know, nursing in public as a hot topic. I mean, that's
maybe it was most read. Maybe I'm taking that out of context.
You know, I mean, you catch my drift, and I say with all due respect, because it seems like those are topics. Those are all topics that you just mentioned that tend to get a lot of people onto Facebook and in with their opinions on those types of things. But you know, let's put it this way: if it is clickbait, it worked, because not only this, but another author that talked about his horrible time on a Disney cruise, you know, with all due respect, I mean, if you start your blog post basically with that type of title, you are bound to get that found by a Disney fan. Someone is going to link that to a Disney site. Someone is going to share that, and it is going to get shared 100 times over. And in some locations, in some Facebook places, it's going to get shared multiple times over days, if not weeks worth of, you know, distribution. So it's if it's not meant to be clickbait, it's definitely going to get a lot of clicks, because if there is one thing that Disney fans are, they're very inquisitive when and dare I even say defensive, you know, about something like that. And I'll go ahead and say this one last thing. Guarantee you something. If this was something about Disneyland, I know that there are Disneyland, the Disneyland fan base is even more protective of, you know, Disneyland than I think those in Walt Disney World, those who are Walt Disney World fans are of Walt Disney World.
I can see it. All right. So before we dive into the actual article, and we'll dissect it here in a minute, I also think she went with a pre-notion of she just was pre-configured notion that she wasn't going to like it. I don't know if it was the price that maybe scared her off, which, listen, the price is, you know, not to be stupid, but it's pricey. There's a lot of things, but let's jump into this. All right. So, let's start. I was going to read that, but that was just a waste. But, you know, I will. You know what? So, admittedly, I was a bit pessimistic about this vacation. But now, I want you to pay very close attention to this, because this will come up a lot throughout our conversation. But after plenty of advice from friends who loved Disney, I felt prepared, even a little excited. Maybe it would be magical. Maybe my children would love it so much I'd get caught up in the excitement. Maybe it would be the 7th level, or maybe it wouldn't be the 7th level of hell, some mystical ride into a childless bliss. Let's find out. Number 1, and now I don't know if she put this in any actual order, and if it sounds like I'm stuttering when I'm reading this, there's a few adult words that I have to pull out that you'll hear me stutter. Number 1, I ate so much garbage that my body was actually confused. Now, they literally put up a picture of the seedless grapes and baby carrots, and it says the bag states that they are food pyramid approved. Good to know. They're by Chinchilla, right? Is that the company? The one that makes bananas?
Chiquita.
Okay. All right. So I ate so much garbage that my body was actually confused. I had a perpetual gnawing fear that eating nothing but empty calories and glorified cafeteria food for 4.5 days would put all our bodies into nutritional shock. And I was right. For $41 per person per day, and that's just 2 meals, Disney offers a quick service meal plan that resembles a cafeteria style crap prepared with the exact same bags of produce doled out into my son's public school lunchroom. On a steady diet of mouse ear waffles, my 6-year-old was wired beyond anything I've ever witnessed. I tried to find healthy options, truly. The oatmeal reminded me of Oliver Twist style gruel. The eggs were puddle of mucus. That was a very fun one to read when I was eating lunch the other day. The resort included 2 of these cafeteria style restaurants, along with an overpriced fine dining menu of only Creole Cajun style food. So which made me think, was she at French Quarter?
No, well, either that or it was at Boat Rights, because you can get that sort of well, it could be French Quarter. It could be either one of them, because I know that Boat Rights does have, a Cajun flair to it.
Okay. Leaving the resort for dinner was impossible because after 8 hours a day at the park, the last thing anyone wanted to do was get on another bus. Eventually, I just went bleep out, filling up my souvenir mug with Diet Coke and eating enough French fries to deep fry my arteries.
So, okay, one, she only spent 8 hours at the parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did someone not tell her that you don't have to eat just quick serve places? Just because you have a quick serve dining plan doesn't mean that you can, I don't know, go somewhere else, have some nice meals, even with your kids. And I'll be honest with you, while I don't mind myself, mind getting a good burger or some of the chicken tenders and stuff like that. I like those things. I like those things at Disney. For some reason, I don't get them any other time. Well, burgers I eat all the time. Chicken tenders and stuff like that I usually only get at Disney. But the fact of the matter is, if you feel like that you are eating only burgers and fries at Disney, I don't mean any disrespect by this, but you're not trying.
Yeah. You're taking the easy way out.
Yeah, you're just not trying, because even the food courts, even at the value resorts, have some really good meals. I had like a chicken parmesan at Art of Animation that I actually had it twice while I was there during our summer trip. It was really good. Big pieces of chicken, some good sauce, healthy amounts of cheese. Had a little salad to go along with it. It was good. It wasn't fast food. It was good food fast. So
I will say this. The quick service style restaurants inside of the hotels, yeah, they are basically a glorified cafeteria. I will say that. And I say glorified because they are better than the average cafeteria. But at best, they are a cafeteria. When it comes to Magic Kingdom, I tend to agree that I do feel like since it's the busiest park, there probably should be more of an eatery option inside Magic Kingdom. And we've discussed that we're not going to get into that.
But you're right. But you're absolutely right. There are some things when it comes to different kinds of food. That's where Epcot, in my opinion, takes the cake.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I'm going to say I don't know if she had a hopper or not, but if you had a good travel agent, a one that specialized in Disney, and this was a concern after day one, because you would have realized that after day one that this was going to be an issue, especially if you are if I didn't know you personally, but then you tell me, hey, listen, I really like food. I like to stay on a health kick, but I'm tired of I don't want to eat this cafeteria style food all the time.
Yeah.
I easily could have sat there, or another travel agent. I'm not toting myself. That's why we're not getting into that. But you would have said, well, listen, I know it's a long day. So who wants to go back to a room? May I recommend while you're already out to maybe jump on a monorail or a boat to a resort where they'll have different dining options? May I recommend taking wherever park you're in, going to Disney Springs? Now, granted, this was written 2 years ago. Disney Springs was not what Disney Springs is now. And I know she talks about getting on the bus. People will be like, oh, you can get a minivan. Minivans were not around then. Ubers were really just coming around. So I'm trying to tread lightly in this aspect. But, to sum up my point, this is where a travel agent would come in handy, because whether you just weren't given enough information, whether you weren't given the right information, whether you did not seek out the right information, as some of your points in step one, I do agree with. Overall, there was an easy way to fix it. And for whatever reason, you chose to just drag it on for 5 days and be miserable. Moving on to number 2. My kids lost their blank. The 7 days I spent in a rented beach house with my children last summer were the most blissful days of my life. They were more well-behaved than I have ever seen them. We've gone through several long, hot days at Sesame Place without a meltdown. I don't know if it was the sugar, the stimulation, the endless walking, or a combination of all these. Regardless, they turned into animals. I'm going to start with this one, Chris. Okay. How are you blaming Disney about this? They're your kids. Disney does not tell them to act a certain way. If your kids are going to act out, and I'm not calling you a bad parent, because I know someone's going to take this sound clip, turn it around, and make it. That's not what I'm saying. But you can't blame Disney for your kids acting out. That's on you, your husband, your significant other, whoever it may be. That's on you. That's on you and your kids. Disney didn't stand there and wave the sugary lollipop in front of them. Disney will accommodate. No one said to stuff your kid with Mickey waffles every day. I'm sorry, I was going to Disney when I was a kid. My parents didn't stuff me with that stuff every day. As an adult, I don't go there and stuff. As much as I would love to eat Mickey waffles every day, I know I can't. That's just not feasible. You're there. I think this number 2 is completely out of bounds. And this was more based on your children than it was Disney. Chris?
Yeah, here's the interesting part to this. For a long time ago, I would write about this kind of thing often when I was writing. I was kind of co-authoring articles for Parenting in the Parks over at mouseplanet.com. And the interesting part to it is that one of the themes that I would always say is, hey, you know your kids. You know your kids best. You know what your kids' boundaries are. And the fact of the matter is that I said it many times then. I say it now on the show a lot. All the parks are filled with a lot of different stimuli. And that's music, that's other sounds, smells, sights. I mean, there's a lot going on. And to a lot of little kids, that stimuli gets to them. So the fact of the matter is that that's why I always say take a break in the middle of the day. It breaks up that stimuli. And it really helps keep your kids, especially if they are sensitive to stimuli. You may not even realize it. When my son was very little, all of a sudden he was like starting to act up a little bit. And we realized the only thing he needed was a break outside of the parks. Ever since we started doing that, we made it a part of our routine. We still make it a part of our routine because it's good for all of us just to chill out somewhere outside of the parks. But the fact of the matter is, yes, obviously a part of her comment for number 2 is the same as number 1. If you're feeding your kids, or you're letting your kids eat in a non-healthy manner, then yes, that's going to probably impact how they act too. I'm not saying everybody's sensitive. It's not about food sensitivities or anything like that. It's just about eating well and how you feel. And again, it's like you have to know how to eat at Disney. If you guys think that we talk about food a lot at Disney, just because we are big foodies. Well, then you're right. But the fact of the matter is, eating at Disney is a big part of the experience. And if you do it right, you're going to fuel your body rather than just feed it all the stuff. You're going to actually give it good fuel to go off of. That's why, I don't know about you, Danny, that's why I like to go to nice places to eat. And I also eat things like salads and fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. And my kids do it too. And yeah, we do enjoy the Dole Whip. We do enjoy an occasional Mickey Premium Ice Cream Bar. We do enjoy some of those sweet treats. But I can guarantee you we are not on sugar highs when we're there. Have we done it? Yes. Have we regretted it? Yes. Learned from our fails? Yes. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to eat a giant Mickey, or the premium ice cream bar, sandwich, Rice Krispie treat, whatever the case may be. And I will indulge. Are you kidding me? I'm not the size I am because I eat salads all the time. But you gotta, once again, you like Mary says it best. I know a lot of people have been saying, know your limits and know your kids' limits. Yes. That's big number.
And, knowing your own limits as an adult, it really is. I saw it in the comments. Knowing your limits as an adult also helps because the last thing you want is, one, you don't want your kids to get into a meltdown mode. And two, you don't want to get into adult meltdown mode. And
I've been there. I've done it.
I have too. And you want to know something? It's not good.
Yeah. I've literally had my parents like, just leave us alone. You're done. You're done for a little while. And I literally, after a little while, I take a nap, I cool off, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm back. All right, number 3 here. I got this distinct pleasure of rooming with my children. Jeez. In reality, most vacations on a normal budget would be requiring bunking up with your kids, but that doesn't make it suck any less. It's hard enough to sleep in the same house as these night walkers, but getting all close and cuddly with grinding teeth, kicking legs, and the warm smell of, doesn't make the night hours any more restful. Go ahead, Chris. I'll hand you that one.
Oh, thank you. That's handing me the steaming pile of dog fecal matter. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's the thing. First off, did she see how many kids that she had or has?
No, but judging by the picture, it looks like she had 2 kids.
Okay. So we travel with 2 kids. My 2 kids sleep in the same bed with each other. We've never had to have an issue with that. But, and granted, my kids are 10 years apart. My daughter is older. My son is the younger one. And the interesting part to it is there are a lot of people that would say, oh, I would never let my daughter sleep in the same bed with my son, this, that, and hey, this is just how it works for us. This is how it always has worked for us. And, the thing of it is that, again, your kids, right? And if you know that your kids are going to have some sort of sleeping arrangement issues, Disney has a sleeping rooms that have different sleeping arrangements. If you're just at a value, most of the value rooms are going to be just 2 beds. Even back a couple years ago, you still had family suites and values where they, had separate sleeping areas for what would be adults and kids. There was also DVC rental points. You can point. I'm trying to get. Hi. I know that you can rent DVC points. You can actually just do cash rental of rooms right from Disney, that were bigger and suites and things like that. And if you're paying big money for a guest house somewhere in the beach, you can probably figure out how much it's going to cost for something like that. But the thing is, it's like if you know that your kids, you're going to have a hard time sleeping in the same room with your kids because of your kids' bedtime habits. You didn't talk to a travel agent about what your options could possibly be. Disney has a lot of options. Now, I will say this, and I know people will agree with this. It wasn't until recently that Disney had increased the types of rooms that had even more flexible sleeping arrangements for like families of 5. And Disney is getting a whole lot better with that, and I give them big time applause for that sort of thing. But
which hotel was it where you can sleep inside the TV?
Well, I know they have it at the Grand Floridian. And there's other resorts that have been renovated that actually have like a I call it's a pull down bed, a trundle bed of sorts. It's really kind of cool. I mean, granted, it's really close to the ground, but it's actually really pretty cool. But the fact of the matter is that even a couple of years ago, there were still plenty of options. I mean, they could have rented a cabin at Fort Wilderness, which is one of the best options that you can have for a larger group, and have a kitchen and everything else, or they could have made breakfast and lunch or dinner at a Disney resort, and it's on a higher end of a moderate price wise scale. So I'm pontificating a little bit, but it just kind of irritates me when your kids, your family, talk to somebody about what your options are.
Enrique actually did a little investigation work. She stayed at Riverside, and it was during Christmas, December 19th.
Okay, so let's go ahead and say this. First off, Riverside, still love the resort. There are places in Riverside that actually, I don't know if they redid it since then or what, just into the timeline. But still, even 2 years ago, they had queen beds. So if you have two smaller kids, that's plenty big, if you ask me.
2 queen beds, yeah.
And at the same time, Riverside, again, boat rides, great restaurant for dinner.
Great restaurant.
You can't tell me.
She's claiming that's the one that's overpriced. But there's no Cajun there.
Oh, yeah, you can get Cajun food.
But she made it seem like the whole menu was Cajun.
But let me rephrase this. If you talk to like some of our friends, like Jimmy over at the Disney Nerds podcast, he likes, if I'm not mistaken, and Jimmy, forgive me if I'm wrong, he likes good Cajun dishes, and he'll probably say that it's not really solidly good Cajun. I've had blackened something or another over there before. I've had some Cajun stuff over there. I've had jambalaya over there, and I liked it. But that's me. I don't eat a lot of Cajun, so I don't know the difference. One of these days, I'm going to meet up with Jimmy where he lives and probably get some good Cajun food. That's a whole different show altogether. But the fact of the matter is, that's a great restaurant, and their food court is really, really good. So,
besides asking, this was a great idea too. How about Amazon was around 2 years ago and they shipped to the hotel room? Could have got yourself a blow-up mattress. I understand that you spent a lot of money on a vacation. I get that. I'm just trying to show you that there are other ways to go about it. Yeah, I mean, John says it best. It's just, hey, this is something you did. You share beds. You share rooms. You're on vacation. Be thankful it's not an all the time thing. That one, if I was her, she turned a lot of people off, and especially the mama bears. You turn them right there. All right, number 4. We'll keep moving here. Despite planning, which you didn't do, and bringing our own ponchos, we still got caught in the rain at Magic Kingdom. Oh God, I love this. This was no one's fault but Mother Nature and the guy who told us we don't need to take the monorail to the character breakfast because it was only a 5-minute walk. It was a 20-minute walk that began at the precise moment the skies opened up. You can imagine how that went down. Okay, first off, have you never heard of a weather app? I don't know. I use it all the time. Yeah, you see these things? They're called eyeballs. Look up in the sky, homeboy. Does it look like it's about to rain? Because if it does, it's probably about to rain. Number 3, you're in Florida. Hey, guess what? It rains. Number 4, I know you're saying it's not Disney's fault, but you put it on a top 10 list of why I hate Disney. Come on. This is ridiculous. Now, granted, I don't know where she was walking to that it took her a 20-minute walk.
Oh, if she was going from the Magic Kingdom and about the whole monorail thing, there's only one place you can go, and that's going over to the Contemporary, most likely to Chef Mickey's.
That is not a 20-minute walk from the front of Magic Kingdom to the front of the Contemporary.
No, it's about
10 minutes max.
Mm-hmm.
Max. And I mean, you got to walk slow. Mm-hmm. I jogged it in 3. So,
I mean, and the thing is that it's granted, it's not a 20-minute walk, because if you think about it, normal pace that you're walking would mean that it was over a mile to get there. And no, sorry, it's not. Granted, if I start seeing clouds, big clouds coming in, or it looks dark, it looks like it's going to rain, before I even go, I'm like, oh, even if it was 20 minutes, go to the monorail. But, the fact of the matter is that, okay, a Disney cast member, a Disney cast member made a mistake, as to when it was going to rain, and she got caught in the rain. That's not Disney's fault still. Someone made a mistake. Oops.
It's just rain, though. You know what I mean? Like, I never understood why people were getting so upset that, like, you got wet. Like Mary says, with a wheelchair and a blind guy, it's not a 20-minute walk. And that's true. Because listen, my father was blind. Before he passed, he went blind. And I used to push him around in his little wheelchair. And me and him, we would get around Disney, no problem. But yeah. All right, let's move on because that one's just ridiculous. Here's one. When I first read the title, I was like, I agree with you. Mission Space. Or no, excuse me. She writes the Mission Space Ride at Epcot almost killed that. Literally, the Mission Space Ride at Epcot almost killed me. This is purely my own fault as someone who gets car sick. So, all right, hold on. It's purely my own fault. So once again, now we are at two things back to back that is not Disney's fault. That you are openly admitting Disney had no fault with. But anyway. This is purely my own fault. As someone who gets car sick in the backseat of a taxi, I was weary of the signs on most of the rides warning rides of potential motion sickness, but they were generally exaggerated. For example, Soarin' only went about 5 feet in the air and was delightful, but Mission Space had some red flags I should have listened to. You have the option of orange or the less intense green version. I wanted to be a bad. I wanted to be cool and ride the orange with my 6-year-old. Upon entry, receive a flyer with a bold print exclaiming that if you have any doubt at all, go green. I ignored this. Then we went to a small room where a video plays with Gary Sinise, again, advising you to disembark if you think orange might be too much for you. The 8-year-old kid behind me assured me, it would be rad. Then when we head into another small room where, again, Gary tells you this is your last chance. Opt now or get on board. My son and I were placed along with 2 strangers side by side in a small enclosed car, complete with actual barf bags. A bar comes down around you with a long... Well, she's not a very good rider. I apologize. Along with the force of gravity prevents you from looking to the side. This thing took off with a bolt that left me breathless and then rocked and heaved with the force of God's wrath. My stomach dropped out of my body and then punched me in the face. Since I couldn't turn, I had no idea if my son was thrilled or terrified. So I just held fast to his hand, repeating, "Isn't this awesome?" When I stumbled off the ride, an attendant handed me a cold towel. I then went and lost my lunch in the public bathroom, and I don't think I've been right since. Lesson: always listen to Gary. Once again, how is this Disney's fault? They not gave you not only signs, not only one video, not only 2 videos, but a 3rd chance to get off said ride. You still went on, homegirl. That's you. That is you. Sorry. Don't feel bad for you. Like, and I'm not, what am I going to defend on Disney? No, it's an intense ride. I hate the ride. I went on it once. I realized I didn't like it. I'll never go back on it again. Very simple.
I've got nothing. I mean, it's just like,
yeah, okay.
I got nothing. I mean, the fact of the matter is that
nothing. Let's move.
I got nothing. You said it all.
All right. Well, this one I think you'll have something to say about. Number 6, Epcot World Showcase is depressing. Look, it's a lovely idea, creating quaint little architects of a dozen nations full of music and miniaturized versions of national landmarks. In reality, it's a bit sad. Each showcase sets up shops and stands selling knickknacks. Maracas made in China, miniature Eiffel Towers made in China, Chinese lanterns made in, well, you get the picture. In Germany, a line wrapped around the shop that sold nothing but Werther's original candies, the same exact one my mom buys at CVS. The food cart sold sad approximations of cannolis and Wiener schnitzels, all disguised as authentic by being hawked by actual nationals, one of whom jokingly told me he was brought in illegally to peddle bratwurst.
Oh my gosh! Oh, you gotta. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. That's okay. That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. Obviously, she's talking about caramel kuch. I can't really pronounce it well, but it's a place where everything's caramel. Yes, they have Werther's caramels. Yes, they have caramel corn made with Werther's caramel. They have caramel apples made with, you guessed it, Werther's caramel, which, by the way, oh my gosh, those things are so good. And as for the caramel corn, I've never had chewy caramel corn before. And oh my gosh, it is so good. It doesn't take a lot to enjoy it. Just a few kernels at a time to savor and enjoy. Obviously, if a cast member actually said something like that about, oh, they smuggled me in illegally, first off, if that really happened, it's a bad joke. Seriously.
By the way, she has a picture of her kneeling down in front of like one of the Nikon picture spots by China. And like her little girl's kind of leaning on her leg. Her son's like burying his head into her lap. Meanwhile, she is wearing long black pants. They're like cotton, all black shirt.
Well, it is December.
Still going to be hot.
It's still, during the daytime, it's still going to be relatively warm. I'm sorry. Epcot is undoubtedly one of my family's favorite parks. And the thing is that we have our favorite countries that we go to. And yes, I will admit, there is a lot of shopping representative in those countries and stuff like that. But there's also a lot of really fun things to see. There's a lot of really cool things to do. There are a lot of different like presentations or, different edutainment type of items in those particular pavilions that people, guests can really super enjoy. But, the fact of the matter is that, someone must have spit in her Wheaties that day because, I just don't get it. There are some countries I don't care for. But I still go there and I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the food. I still enjoy the drink. I love taking pictures at night of all the pavilions. But seriously, I don't understand. Now I think she's just saying these things to be negative. Now, granted, if these are her real, honest observations, fine. I respect the fact that she has observations, but I don't necessarily.
One less family at Disney.
I just don't necessarily. My observations are totally different than her observations. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I'll hit this quickly because I know we have a lot to finish up here in a short period of time. Listen, does Epcot have its flaws? Yes. Plenty of empty buildings she doesn't even realize, but that's just how me and Chris are. We talk about it. Is some of the shows like the 360 show in China outdated? Absolutely.
So the one in Canada.
What?
So is the one in Canada. I love Martin.
Very true too. Yeah.
I love Martin Short, but have Martin Short redo it, please.
Yeah. Is Africa Pavilion a joke? Absolutely. But you take what you get out of all these countries. Yes. Are a lot of the knickknacks made in China? Sure. But are you going to write an article about every store you go to that sells things that were made in China? Because if you were, you should make blogging a full-time job because you're going to be here all day. It is what it is, man. I'm gonna move past. I have an echo. Let's see. It's an environmentalist nightmare. No one can say that Disney doesn't keep the place clean. Unfortunately, we have some disagreements over the definition of clean. For instance, the assault. She's cursing a little bit here for a second. The assault of bleach feels more like a punch in the throat than clean. Each bathroom smelled like it was attacked by Glade air fresheners. The intensity of the fragrance was actually worse than a familiar Philly rec center bathroom that smelled like old people. Also, despite never opening the variety of mouse-eared toiletries, they put new ones in our room daily. They multiplied like, well, mice. Look, I didn't expect an ecological paradise. I just don't think styrofoam was going to be a thing.
Well, okay.
You know,
I think 90% of the restrooms at Walt Disney World, regardless if it's parks, resorts, what have you, I don't have an issue with them at all. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think they smell funny. Every once in a while, you'll get one that needs some attention, and that's fine. And the fact of the matter is that if you tell a cast member and custodial, especially if they're walking around, let them know. But, you know, the fact of the matter is I don't usually have a problem finding a place to, you know, do some stuff. I don't necessarily think it's overwhelming and it smells of bleach and this, that, and the other. And there are people that would be glad to take on your extra toiletries and from your room. So,
oh God, yeah.
You know, I mean, those are going to be coming by the wayside here soon. If you know, if what we've been seeing is going to be coming the norm. So fine, you know. But I think Disney, to say that Disney is not environmentally friendly place. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think their conservation efforts are extraordinary. I mean, dude, did you even know that their bus fleet runs on R50 diesel, which it's 50,
I didn't know that.
50% is basically biodiesel made from food waste. You know, come on. Hello, food waste turned into diesel and it's burning it all up. Hello, reuse. That's awesome. So, I mean, yeah, she doesn't get it.
No, I'm just going to simply say I would rather my bathroom smell like bleach and know it was clean than walk into a bathroom in other amusement parks that don't smell like bleach and aren't very clean. Number 8, Orlando. Well, it kind of sucks. The main artery of International Drive is the home of every chain restaurant you thought had died out years ago. Sizzler, anyone? And then there's Disney, where the employees of themed resort dress like they're part of some kind of circus cult while slopping up sludge in 100-degree heat. I just think many of these employee uniforms are a special kind of cruelty. Trying to recreate the New Orleans experience through a cafeteria-style jambalaya and man-made river just doesn't evoke an era for me. There is no local culture. There is a Disney culture, which thousands of people love. Call me Scrooge, but I don't get it. I will belt out Let It Go louder than any preschooler and happily take pictures with a guy in a goofy suit. But coming back to this place year after year, Disney honeymoons, customized mouse ears, families and matching custom vacation tees, not for me. I'd like to address this one first. First off, they do have a lot of chain restaurants. Yeah, all right. I'm not a chain guy. I'll give you that. I've always been a big hater of the way Disney dresses their cast members. Okay, I respect that. I will have to agree. I don't see why that makes your trip suck, but to his own. All right, here's the fun part. First of all, you are Scrooge. Second of all, you can belt out whatever you want. Nobody's listening. Coming back to this place year after year, you're getting quality year after year. You're getting growth in a company year after year. You're seeing things change, and you're part of a growing culture and a family outside of your own family. Yeah, you know, maybe customized mouse ears. Maybe you get one. You know, I know a lot of people who collect them and get all different styles. That's like me saying, why do you buy all these different shoes, all these different high heels? They're the same product. Why? Because it's a different name on the back. You see what I'm saying? And I prefer to spend my couple $1,000s a year to go on a vacation to Disney than to spend a couple $1,000s and go sit on a beach in the Bahamas or go hiking in the Appalachian Trail. I think you work hard for your money and you have every right to go where you want to go. You are absolutely being a Scrooge if you're going to crucify somebody because they like to do that. Families and matching custom vacation tees. I'll end on this one. Actually, no, I'm going to go with the honeymoons first. Why? You could, and it's going to go back to her other topic. She won't agree with me, but you can go to Epcot. You could be in all these different countries. It's without actually going to all these other countries. Disney with just your significant other is a completely different trip. And if you ever get the chance to experience that, I highly recommend it. Lastly on me, this families and matching custom vacation tees. You know why you don't like it? Because you don't like sleeping in the same room with your children, you weirdo. You don't even want to be on vacation with them. You can't go 5 days on vacation without being with them. So you know what? Yeah. You having matching t-shirts does seem like an outlandish thing for you. But for the rest of America and the rest of us normal people, or I guess you would call us these cult people in the Disney community, we enjoy spending time with our family and having these moments where you can take these family photos and you all have matching t-shirts on. I make fun of my family every time we go there and they make me put on a family t-shirt. I'd laugh. I mean, this is ridiculous. We're going to look so stupid here. But guess what? I still do it because it's a memory. It's something that you can always live with and have. Just saying.
And you know what? One of my favorite pictures happens to be from this past June trip with my family. It is the picture of all 5 of us wearing our Toy Story themed logo on the back of a t-shirt, getting our picture taken by a PhotoPass photographer at Epcot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're all kind of just looking at Epcot, and all of us are wearing matching shirts. And you know what? We don't wear matching shirts all the time. That's really hard to do if you really want to know the truth. It takes a lot of time, effort, energy, and money to have everybody wear a matching shirt. But I gotta be honest with you. I really feel that. I really feel like a person like this really missed the boat, and I really feel bad for her now. I mean, I don't feel sympathy. I really feel empathetic, because I really wish this person would have started out their time with their family really being, she was saying she was already going into this, pessimistically. I really honestly wish that she would have ended in a positive note. But
she might. She might. We will find out.
I don't know.
All right. Number 9, more bedazzled, overpriced mouse crap that you can't even imagine. She wrote can even imagine. I believe there was supposed to be a T there, so I will add it for her. If there is one thing I did right as a parent, it was instilling in my children that I will not be buying them souvenirs, trinkets, or anything that lights up and is sold from a vendor cart. I told them they would each be allowed one purchase, mouse ears. Fortunately, they each chose the basic old-fashioned variety, which ran me $27 for the pair. Other parents didn't fare so well. Balloons cost $20. Disney World will mold a turd into mouse ears, roll it in glitter, and sell it for $14.99. I give you credit. That was a good line. Of course, my children acquired complimentary Mardi Gras beads and what I like to call plastic fish. We let these items bunk up with us for 5 days and then blissfully left them behind.
What?
I don't think she means the ears. I think she means
I
the
know
beads.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I still got some of that stuff hanging behind me, Jeez.
I'll say this. Does Disney sell a lot of crap? Yes.
They sell a lot of small souvenir type of stuff that would be the coincidental souvenir type stuff.
Yes. No, I'm saying, do they overprice their stuff? Sure. a bubbler that's going to probably fall apart in a week, or you're going to run out of bubbles in 6 minutes, should not be selling for $29.99. Do they overprice their items? Sure. Are there a lot of unnecessary things that they purposely market towards little kids so their parents get suckered into buying? Sure. So does Kmart, so does Walmart, so did Toys R Us, so do all these people. So, first of all, it's business. That's how it's done. If you choose not to buy your children that is perfectly fine. When I go on vacation with my niece and nephew, they get one balloon for the entire trip. Now, if it pops, you go talk to a cast member, but you get a balloon. Is it the biggest waste of $40 for 2 balloons I'll ever waste? Absolutely. It is a waste of money. That balloon probably cost them 3 cents, but I chose to buy them. I chose to make them happy in that way. You don't have to. It doesn't make you a bad person. However you choose to raise your child, that is fine. But do not belittle people who want to go buy them that balloon. Or do not belittle me for any time there is something Buzz Lightyear related, I run out and go get it. It is what it is, people. She is just, we're gonna harp on this word. She's just being a Scrooge. She really is.
Hey, listen, during Virginia's first trip, it was her first or second trip, she wanted a motorized sucker spinner. Put the sucker in it, you press the button, it goes, it spins on the stick, and it has Mickey on it. And it was just funny kind of watching her going, like really the epitome of laziness when it comes to sucking on a sucker, like that. It's still here. It still works. And I don't know how long ago that was. I mean, it was like $8, Mm-hmm. It's just funny. But, the thing is, it's not like you're going to have your kids want to buy those types of things for every trip. Hey, listen, we've bought our share of overpriced stuff.
I buy overpriced stuff at home.
We do.
Do you want to know what I consider Disney World souvenirs when they have them in the store? It's Amazon for adults. Think about that. Disney caters to little kids. They make them shiny. They make them bubbly. They make noises. What does Amazon do? Amazon lowers prices, gives you sales, gives you free shipping, and pushes a whole bunch of crap in front of you that you don't need, but your brain's like, ooh, I could use a foot scrubber that also sings me a melody to go to sleep. You see what I'm getting at? Everybody does it. They know how to market people. It is what it is. Lastly, number 10. I don't think my kids even liked it that much. I've seen my kids have way more fun playing with friends at a local park than sitting bug-eyed and nervous during Pirates of the Caribbean. We all agreed It's a Small World was creepy and a little bit racist. I'm going to stop there. So I would agree partially. We can all agree Small World is very creepy. I'd love to know where racism falls in. If you had said Splash Mountain, I would have had a conversation with you. It's a Small World.
I'm trying to figure out where that came from. I mean, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe there's something I don't know. And I'm more than willing to listen to any conversation about it, but I don't see it. Sorry, respectfully.
Yeah. Like Lindsay says, hi, Lindsay. Me and her were at a wedding. That's my girlfriend, by the way, if anybody didn't realize that by now. We bought like $10 bottle of gourmet vodka sauce. Don't know why. Just hope it tastes good. Back to this one.
Talk about buying overpriced stuff.
That's exactly what the comment was. Talk about buying overpriced crap. The Winnie the Pooh ride was like an acid trip. On a Magic Kingdom day, we left the hotel at 8:15 in the morning. You left too late, sweetheart, and arrived back at 3 p.m. and had somehow only gone on 6 rides. My 2-year-old shouts with glee every time she sees Mickey Mouse on a bus sign or TV screen, but couldn't care less when the costume character came to our table. All right, address this quickly. First off, most kids love the cartoons and honestly are terrified of the actual characters in real life. I've noticed that with both my niece and my nephew, and
Yeah.
I've noticed with plenty of other children.
I've seen it too.
Leaving your hotel room at 8:15 and getting back by 3, I think your schedule is way off. You should have been leaving by 7:15, 7:30, maybe going back in the heat of the day by 1:30, to really kind of break up your day a little bit. My personal opinion, that's if you were my client, I would have told you to do this. They're talking about only going on 6 rides. Sweetheart, you were there December 19th. You were there right before Christmas. You were there during a busy time. And the problem is people think there's 47 rides. I should be able to ride all 47. You have to level your expectations. And if your friends that you got information from like Disney as much as you thought they did, and I say thought because you are wrong, they do not. They would have told you, do not expect to go there during this time period and get everything done.
I was thinking 6 rides and basically 6 rides in 6 hours, considering
it's a solid day.
I mean, that's actually a really pretty good, taking into consideration 1, you're with little kids. 2, she doesn't talk about fast passes at all, so I'm going to go ahead and say that she didn't do any real fast pass work. 3, there's got to be some lunchtime and other snack times in there somewhere. So I'm going to be honest with you. At a busy time of year, she didn't do half bad.
No. She also says it wasn't all that bad. I think in general, we did it right. We didn't underplan or overplan. We followed the mouse saver rules and the Disney blogger tips. And did you notice that epic crowds and lines didn't make my list? Getting to the parks early and using our magic pass allowed a relatively easy go of it. We only stood in one remarkably long line and made it go by fast by befriending the family behind us. I thought Spaceship Earth was very cool, if a bit dated. I dug the Buzz Lightyear laser ride, and I liked the Great Hollywood movie ride. Oh, that's so sad. And I was also a sucker for anything with montage. The heated resort pool had a cool side. I love the character breakfast buffet, and during a handful of moments, I saw true glimmers of joy when the shaving cream snow sprinkled down a Frozen sing-along, when my son gave Donald Duck a hand-drawn portrait complete with our home address, and when we ate ice cream and more ice cream. My kids will forget all the bad parts and place this trip wherever early childhood vacations live in a child's memories. But most importantly, they will never be able to say we didn't take them to Disney World.
She tries to end it on a positive note. Or let me rephrase that. She tries to recover everything else she says by that last paragraph. And I still actually wish that she would just give it another try, but this time be a lot more prepared, listen to some great podcasts, talk to an actual travel agent that actually has been there and done that and can really help them out. Maybe she needs a VIP guide, or something just for a few hours, just so that she can, really see some of these things, or even go on a tour. The thing is that I think a lot of people think that Disney is all just hitting attractions and this, that, and the other. And that is a big part of it, especially for, those that go the first few times. It's all about the rides. And then once you find out that there is a lot more out there than just rides, and there are other attractions and there are other things to see and do, Disney becomes a much more magical place. Not just, that's just my 2 cents. No, I'm just saying, it's like, if you're a once and done type of person, you're really missing out. Because if I would have, I had a magical time my first time, and it's got me addicted. But the fact of the matter is that, I think I would have felt bad if that was a once and done type of thing. I would have hated to know what I know now and missed all of it.
Yep. We have an update, and it was from January 8th, 2016. Well, this post had actually pissed off more people than posts I have done about being miserable while pregnant or breastfeeding on medication. I've gotten quite a bit of pushback, particularly on my social media. I've been called ill-informed, ignorant, negative, and worst of all, unwilling to put my children's desires first. Though, if you really read this, you will see that my child had less fun at Disney World than they do in my basement. That paragraph, I agree wholeheartedly. You are terribly ill-informed. You have plenty of notions where you were ignorant. You were negative the entire time, even when you tried to be positive. And worst of all, you didn't want to sleep with your children, you weirdo. Stop it. I'm told this post is traveling around Disney message boards as a cautionary tale for the clueless, and Disney travel agents are messaging me enraged. Disney travel agents shouldn't be messaging you enraged. They should be messaging you and saying, hey, listen, if you ever decide to do it again, let me help you. I could have solved a lot of these problems. You are going to fly around message boards. You are going to be topics on podcasts. You wrote a hate piece about Disney, and it's a big community. I'm always open to a civil discussion or debate, and I've always been willing to admit where I may have been wrong and to defend where I believe I am right. Here is the combination of the two. I will get into this, but if anybody knows her, come on the show. It's simple. You want to come talk? Come talk. Come on the show. As I stated in this post, we did do a ton of research prior to our trip. We booked with a travel agent. So right off the bat, boom, you didn't do enough information. And two, whoever your travel agent was, go get your money back. Well, not for the trip, because you can't do that. Go get their commission, because they did not deserve it. We read a bookmark blog posts and tip sheets. We grilled our friends and family who have been to Disney. We booked our character breakfast and our fast passes months in advance. We did all our due diligence that make us feel a bit less like a vacation and more like an overly scheduled business conference. Number two, we chose the quick service dining plan and mid-range resort because that's what our budget allowed. I suppose if money had been no object, staying at the Grand Floridian, enjoying the fine dining plan would have made for a very different experience. But it is simple, not what the average family can afford. That said, quick service does not have to be gross. We have gone on several mid-range cruises and enjoyed all of the buffet-style meals. We don't expect organic gourmet meals, just fruit that doesn't come pre-packaged in a bag. And yes, we brought some of our own snacks, but we still needed to eat meals. We did pay for 2 sit-down meals, which were small fortune and average quality. We also tried to make reservations for some recommended restaurants 6 months in advance, but they were fully booked. Number 3, when I started this post with the items I typically seek in a vacation, I was stating them with the understanding that this vacation was not about those things, and I fully understood that. Sure, if we really wanted to do those things and pay extra for them, we probably could, but we didn't want to pay extra for childcare. We were taking this for what it was. Unfortunately, it was not my cup of tea. Number 4, I also know how to admit when I was wrong, and if it was unfair for me to categorize the whole of Orlando based on Disney World and International Drive, I would be irritated if someone bashed all of Philadelphia. Oh, that's your problem. You're from Philadelphia. Oh, yeah. If you were from Jersey, you'd be better off. Just saying. Philadelphia on the less desirable sections of bad cheesesteaks, which they do. While my husband has visited Orlando about 20 times for work and not seen anything that make him particularly fond of the city, we have not spent significant time exploring the finer points. So if you live in Orlando or from Orlando, I do apologize. I'm sure there's so much more than meets the eye to the casual traveler. Man, just go eat your cheesesteaks and watch your Eagles. That's what you do best. Number 5, there is a reason this post is called the top 10 things I hated about Disney, not 10 things that you will hate about Disney. Look, I love CrossFit. Oh my God, that's it. That is it. You're from Philly, you like CrossFit, and you hate Disney. You are my antichrist. What is going on here? This chick is out of control. Look, I love CrossFit so much. It's practically my religion. But you're going to bash people. Wait. So you're going to spend hundreds and possibly thousands of dollars on CrossFit, which is a cult. And you're going to get mad at people who want to take a honeymoon to Disney? Come, this lady's a joke. But I have read loads of hilarious posts about people who tried it and hated it. Sure, sometimes I'll post and say something like, sorry, this sucks for you. Maybe you didn't have a very good trainer to the right coaching. Yes, like you didn't have good friends giving you informations, and you also didn't have a good travel agent. But maybe it just wasn't for you. That's okay. I've tried yoga about 30 times and never liked it. It's because you're the Scrooge, and the Scrooge can't meditate. But maybe enjoying your fitness journey anyway that makes you happy and healthy. So if you'd like me to point out things I may have missed or share your positive experience at Disney World, I'm happy to hear them or have you share them with others who have been chatting on my networks. Again, this is just a tale of my personal experience, and I make sure to point out good parts as well. Just because I don't think it doesn't mean you won't. I'm not trying to deter you from going or interfere with Disney thriving travel business, nor do I think my little blog is going to make that iota of a difference. So if you want to rock out with your ears out, rock on. But as for us, we have lots of other travel ideas on our bucket list that we anxiously want to explore.
I got to be honest with you. I don't think I would want this person on the show. I mean, because first off, I think that you would just totally, completely. I think you would just totally just go off on her, and I just don't think that would be fair with the level of passion of this. And two, I don't think there's a person in our audience that would ever agree with anything that she said. And you know what? She has her opinion. She has her observations. Again, I just kind of wish that she had a better experience, but I really actually think that I would just say to have her on the show and to have her try to talk about it, she would think that everybody's attacking her about it, and that's probably why she didn't respond to you. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you know, at least she, you know what, she had the guts enough to say what she had to say, and she said it in a public forum. And I know that she's probably been ripped a new one a lot over you know, what she's said and what she's done. I know that other people in other major publications that have done very similar have had very similar reactions in the Disney fandom community. You know, so you know what? I wish her only the best. I don't wish her ill will at all. You know what? She had her experiences. I hope that her kids one day, as they grow up to be adults, will find the magic that is a Disney vacation. I hope they try it for themselves and will go back and over and over and over again and go back with their kids. And maybe, you know, they will take her as, you know, as a mom, but of adult kids, as maybe even a grandparent. And hopefully she will see it. And maybe she'll just like really actually get it from that point on. That's my 2 cents on the whole thing, man. I'm not going to apologize because, you know, I'm not going to apologize for the experience that she had. I just wish that she would have really tried. You know, I will say this last thing. When we did our trip back in June and my son-in-law to be came with us, you know, I asked him, I said, you know, something to the extent of, you know, what do you hope to experience on the trip? And he basically said something to the extent of, you know, I really kind of want to see what makes Disney such, you know, Disney is described as a magical place. And I like to think that by the time we left for home, he saw it. That he saw, and you know what? He experienced crowds. He experienced some interesting food. He experienced rain. And did I mention rain? Yes. But, you know, I know that he and my daughter are actually talking about trying to save up to go on a vacation of their own there themselves. So obviously they had a very good experience. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that I'm sure it was because of the company he was with. And I'm sure that he went in there with an open mind and he wanted to have a good time. The guy hasn't been on a vacation in years, and he, you know, gets to go on vacation with us and he has a great time. Sometimes it's just the company you keep. So
yeah, I would agree.
Hopefully next time, maybe, you know what? Hey, maybe next time she'll get to go with us one day. There you go.
If she ever wants to come on and even talk, we got to start somewhere. Yep. We can solve this. I can convert you. I promise. All right. Take us away.
You got it. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. and come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris. Fantastic episode. Fantastic viewership tonight. We do appreciate everybody who shared out the show and everybody who participated with either comments or just simply viewing during this live edition of Behind the Ears Podcast. With that being said, don't forget, like Chris says, follow us on all our social media platforms. And, tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelts, drink your cranberry juice. I am Uncle Danny. Until next time.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Hey, guys. Thanks a lot for being here with us tonight. We love you. We're really glad that you're here. And you know what? The interaction on this show tonight was awesome. And that's why we love it. So by all means, wait until next time. Wait until Thursday. It is going to be great. But until we meet again, I hope everybody has an absolutely magical day. Take care.